let's talk a little bit more about the TV show, Dave, and just your TV career itself.
Yeah.
Last season ended with an incredible episode where in a hostage situation with Brad Pitt.
Man.
How cool was it to get Brad Pitt on set?
Coolest experience.
How did that even come about?
Nothing's cooler.
Was it just like a administration email?
Dude, it was a cold email.
That's insane.
I literally have never met him.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brad for answering his email, man.
Big email.
Better than me.
First off,
God damn it.
I love both of you, and we've known each other for like 5 minutes. Brad Pitt is definitely the coolest guy I've ever met in my life. I've never met anybody.
I take zero offense to that.
Zero.
But you never know. Like he seems cool, but sometimes like guys like have personas that are really cool, and you meet them and they're like shy or like just not fun to hang out with. Like this guy was the man.
I believe it.
And he was so nice to everybody on set. I met him, unfortunately, like the moment he walked on set, I was filming the scene where the stalker is like creating a cast mold of my lower half. So I literally have to meet Brad Pitt like fully naked, covered in like sludge, like, with like my dick outline like visible. And I have to like go and like worm out to like meet Brad Pitt. And like, cause I didn't even, you know, he responded to my email with a truly iconic response, like metaphorically saying he would be there, to the point where like, I like didn't know like if it was real or like a joke or what. And like, even like then I asked his agents, is this real? They were like, yes. And then, but even you have to see him show up to believe this is actually going to happen. Like Brad Pitt is going to like come on my TV show. He hasn't done TV in like 30 years. And it wasn't like a brief cameo where like I see him in a bar and say, hey, Brad. And he's like, yo, he's like, you know, he was there shooting 4 nights from like 8 p.m. to 7 a.m.
That's so dope.
Like just giving me every single hour.
That's
like,
love,
you know,
man.
I gave him every out to like, you know, the way you shoot a scene. Like if I was shooting a scene with you right now, they would shoot your coverage over my shoulder, then they'd shoot my coverage over yours. I got a man that looked just like Brad from behind, wearing the exact same clothing that Brad would wear. And I gave Brad every out, like, you know, you don't have to wait around at 3 a.m. to shoot my coverage. Like,
and he was in.
And he was like, I would never go.
What a G.
Oh my gosh.
He was insulted at the question.
Love him enough, man.
Yeah.
That's
what a
cool
tremendous person.
But truly, like, I've never felt like I made it more. Like Brad Pitt is the LeBron, Michael Jordan of film.
Acting, right? Yeah.
And for him to like, and like I'm sitting with him on set and I'm giving him like direction and he's respecting my opinion and believing in my vision. There's nothing more gratifying as a filmmaker like ever. I couldn't believe it. I'm thrilled. I'm so thankful. I love you, Brad.
Us too.
Yeah, we too. Yeah, me too. We second that. Well, you've been joined by all sorts of incredible guests on the show. Brad Pitt, obviously. Then Drake had his unbelievable appearance. Usher, Rachel McAdams, Don Cheadle, Kevin Hart. The list just goes on and on. Which one were you like most surprised you could like get them on the show or on set? Because that's it.
Rachel McAdams.
I was about to say that was the one that was the most shocking.
Yeah. It was.
I don't know why. It just like you don't see her do like stuff like that. I feel like often, if ever. I don't think I've ever seen that, right?
And she falls into that same category. Like when we grew up, like who is like the leading woman in all the movies that like developed our thoughts of love?
Yeah.
It's truly Rachel McAdams, you know. And for her to be a fan of the show, come on again, not like a scene in a bar saying hi. She's a 3-episode arc.
Yeah.
I'd say Rachel, but like, awesome. You know, I mean, there are certain things that I'm like, man, like I'm so happy I'm getting Don Cheadle to fart 3 times.
Cool, man. Are you more starstruck by like a Philadelphia legend in the sports world or like an entertainer?
Why are you looking over here?
I was just asking.
If you're asking if I'm more starstruck when I saw him compared to like Usher, I was Usher. It's true, but I get it. I get it. But you're also you're a weird professional athlete to me, where I find you so incredibly relatable. You know what I mean? In a way, like I think I would be really starstruck by Allen Iverson.
Dude,
you know what I mean? But like, there's something about you that I feel like I've been your best friend our whole life or something.
Yeah.
And I felt that way as like a younger guy watching you, and I think that's one of the reasons Philadelphia probably loves you so much, is because you really feel like one of the people.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
It's not even a good thing. Like,
I don't even know why that is. Right. Yeah.
Trust me, he gets it.
You just come off like unathletic and sloppy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm trying really strive for that.
Yeah, fans know that a lot of your show, Dave, is based around your actual life. How much of Dave is a reality, and how much have you kind of like tweaked in terms of the fiction?
It felt like season 1 for sure. Was
Yeah,
like,
that's where it really.
Well, how about this? I'll let you answer the question.
Please take it away.
You guys really do relate. I'll tell you what, man.
I've known him for 5 minutes. Season 1 was definitely the most true to his soul. It's hard to quantify. Like I'll say this: a lot is certainly really from my life, but a lot is like there are I have a whole writer's room of people who've lived similar lives or had their own experiences, and we like pull from their lives, or we just make things up because sometimes the funniest thing to do is to make up Don Cheadle farting in a bathroom at the Met Gala. I've never actually been to the Met Gala. In a way, like my character on the show has actually surpassed me in real life as far as like achievement, which is kind of a bummer. But I think it's because I take so much time making the show but regardless, I think that as time goes on, I like to experiment more. And like, I think I entered the show not even knowing the type of mark I wanted to make, like as a TV film movie guy. And it's just evolved to a place where I care so much about filmmaking and like being a true like director and filmmaker to the point where like now I look at Dave as like an opportunity, because every episode can be its own thing. I can be like, why don't I make this a horror episode and like totally see what it's like to make a mini horror movie, and then why don't I make a psychological thriller with like Brad Pitt and hostage with a gun. Things can get a little more like unrealistic when I'm like experimenting in genres like this, but I think that's
when did film get in to play here? Were you always into like directing? And
I didn't know I'd be like a director at heart, but I always loved movies. And when I thought about my life, like I definitely thought I want to be like the next great comedian. And when I imagined what that looked like, I never imagined myself on stand-up stage with a mic. Like
you never imagined
I never did it. Never
Santino?
Like SNL or anything?
I loved and respected stand-up, but I just,
it's the best.
For whatever reason, I just like saw like Adam Sandler and Happy Gilmore or like Will Ferrell, and I'm just seeing all these, there's this murderer's row of comedians that like when I was a kid, when you guys were kids, R-rated comedies were like the thing that like drove everyone's attention. Yeah. And I just thought those guys never were anything other than everyone's funny friend when they were my age, and I was like, I can do this. So I entered just like without knowing, but then as I did it, I surprisingly started caring so much about like tone and aesthetic, and like I can't even like a scene now. Like when you talk about season 1, there are a lot of the funniest things from this show in season 1, but I also think there are a lot of the worst looking scenes, like just visually. Really? Now I don't think people necessarily give too much of a shit about that,
but you do.
But I do, and I only am caring more and more and more to where.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know. I just like the art.
Is that the same way in music as well, where you like
probably
look back?
In a different way. Like, yes, I definitely look back at all my old music and I'm like, what was I thinking? I suck. Like I'm a loser, and I
do that about my game films.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
Like I'll watch myself.
I think it's
and just be like, God damn it, I'm gonna get fucking cut.
Why was I doing that? Like why was I putting my hand there? Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, with music, like I was oftentimes early in my career trying to just like say something outrageously funny to get like a laugh, and like really was like driving my song topics around like viral comedy like moments. Whereas now, like if I can make a song without being funny that I like, I'm probably even more proud of that than a funny song. But still, as you guys can probably tell, if we hung out, I try to make you laugh all the time. It's just who I am as a person. So I think I'm always going to have comedy infused in what I do. I'm not going to just ever be like a stone cold, like depressing drama guy. But I think when I came into it, I was like, I want to make Superbad, which is like definitely a top 3 favorite movie of all time for me.
So fucking good.
But now I think like I want to make The Social Network.
Okay.
Which is also a top 3 movie of all time for me.
Yeah.
They're both so good.
I respect it.
Or maybe a hybrid between the both of them.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of the sweet spot that I'd look to hit.
That's dope.